All right, here with Anthony Stateler of Stateler Family Farms, and Statelers are one of our demonstration farms. And with our schedules this year, just couldn't quite line up to get up here and do a cab cam visit during harvest. So we're doing a little bit of a shop talk today, just to see how 2021 went here at the Stateler Family Farms. So Anthony, how did 2021 treat you?
2021 was an above average year for us. We were able to get some good timely rains. Crop got in the ground. Just, you couldn't have asked for much of a better spring for us. Turned a little bit drier here towards the end of the season. Might have taken off a little bit of that top end that we were kind of hoping for on the bean side of it. Corn, we couldn't have asked for a better crop of corn that we had this year. As far as harvest goes, started to turn a little bit wet here towards the end of harvest. That I wish we would have had just a couple more weeks of dry weather. Up here to where we didn't mud anything out, but we were really good up until that last couple weeks of being able to get stuff done and everything. So we've missed out on some tillage that we would have liked to have been able to do. We're still getting some cover crops seeded, even though it's beyond what we normally would like. We're still getting some rye put on corn stalks and trying to get over that stuff when the weather allows us to. And we'll see. Look forward to seeing what we can do as far as that growth of the rye.
So when we caught up with you this spring, you were making some technological upgrades to the planter.
Yep.
How did that pan out for you? Did you see a return on investment in year one on that?
Yeah, we definitely saw the return on investment of what we did as far as being able to track what different fertilizers we were putting on different gallons. Basically, to be able to help us for the future. What was good here. I told Dad, by the time we were done with doing our different trials and stuff, over the acres that we've got, we probably had 30 different trials of between beans and corn of different things of being able to try. Now, some of them worked really well. Some of them, we didn't really see much, return on what we had. But being able to learn, of different ways of going about getting that nutrition, to the plants, and being able to start with the manure, different additives that we did, to the seed, stuff like that. We might not have seen necessarily return on investment, this year on some of the stuff that we did, but over a 2 or 3 year period, as we continue to try some of those, certain things, it gives us more of an update of what we want to do a little bit more on next year to be able to try, but not necessarily throw out the things that didn't necessarily work this year, on that. Because the growing season, that we had up here, we were extremely blessed for what we were able to have. So, but in a stressful year, some of those things might, pan out a little bit better than what we had. So
good. So 2020, you side dressed manure on standing corn for
Yep.
the first time. You did it again this year, and weather was quite a bit different from last year to this year.
Right.
Are you what changes did you make from last year to this year, and then in 2022, do you plan to do it again and make any changes?
Yeah, so 2019 was when the first year that we had brought in the frac tank and did some side dressing of the corn on that. This year we were in a little bit thicker, heavier cover crop than what we are accustomed to doing. The corn, you couldn't have asked. We had a really nice planting time, when we did that, and being able to get that corn side dressed. When we did the side dressing of the corn this year, we were in that V3 to V4 stage, and really happy of where we were. However, a little bit of a management style that we've seen this year of having that thick cover crop and having a little bit taller of a mat. The corn kind of, I don't want to say it mutated, but it kind of got a longer neck on it, and I think it was because it was trying to get up above that cover crop there in order to be able to capture the sunlight. So even though we were in that V3 to V4 stage, and through Glenn Arnold and all of his research at the Ohio Research Farm up here, We know that V5, after V5 is when you really start to see damage of that drag line, coming across the field. But in that V3 to V4 stage, we've seen a little bit more corn damage than what we would have liked to have seen as we were going across the field, and I think it's just because of that elongated neck that we had due to the cover crop. However, that 60 acres there that we did the side dress with was just as good of corn as what we had, on other farms. So I can't say that, it hurt, necessarily, because we got that good organic, nitrogen and everything that we're given to it. 2022, we're still going to continue to use manure as much as what we can, especially with the inputs and where nitrogen costs and everything are. So at the home place, we've got the bean stubble that we had this year. We'll be going in and doing some pre-plant nitrogen and drag lining on that. And then here at Mom and Dad's place, where the research farm is, here we're going to plant 60 acres here and do side dress. So we'll bring in the frac tank again, have 7 or 8 semis running to be able to keep that frac tank full, and be able to utilize the nitrogen and utilize the manure as best as what we can. Like I said, with input costs the way that they are, even though we've got a little bit more input on the semi part of it in the frac tank, it's still going to be cheaper than what we are seeing, with nitrogen costs where they're at right now.
Well, 2022 is right around the corner, and it won't be too long before we'll be pulling the equipment back out into the field and planting next year's crop. So you're doing final preparations for taxes and finances right now, and then looking to the future of what you're going to change on the operation. So we appreciate what you and your dad do for the demonstration farms, and the willingness to go out on a limb sometimes and take some chances on different practices. So stay tuned for more updates in 2022 from the Stateler Family Farms demonstration farm.